Hey there and welcome back. My wife and I recently had to have our dog put to sleep. He was a good boy, very loyal. Not to us per se, but to anyone with food. He was cremated and his ashes came to us in a nice wooden box. But me being me, I wanted to make him something a little nicer and something with a little more personality to match his. This project challenged me and my patience at every step. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna start over here at the joiner. I've got 2 pieces of Coca-Cola here. I'm gonna get these flattened and coplanar. All right, now I'm gonna rip these and make sure both sides are parallel. All right, we're gonna file this under everything is an experiment, so I'm gonna give this a go. When this design popped in my head, I didn't really think of how I was gonna glue it up. I think what I'm gonna do is glue one of these 45-degree cutoffs onto each end. We're gonna give this a go. This is actually gonna be way trickier than I was expecting.
It's tricky.
After some trial and error with clamps and whatnot, I think this is probably going to be my best bet. I'm gonna let this set up before I do anything with the other section, just in case this fails, which it definitely might. All right, this is set up for a while, so I'm gonna get out of the clamps and check it out here. I'm not feeling super confident. That's actually pretty good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one glued up. I won't bore you all with that though.
1 hour later.
All right, because this was glued up in such a funky way, I'm gonna have to run it across the jointer and through the planer again. Also going to joint one of these edges, which is end grain. Also not a good idea. None of this is a good idea is what I'm saying, but
That idea ain't worth a velvet painting of a whale and a dolphin getting it off.
I don't have much of a choice. I'm gonna give this a whirl. These seemingly escaped this process unscathed, which is great news. Now to the table saw. All right, now I'm going to rip this down again, get the sides parallel once more. All right, so these 2 pieces will be the front and the back. So off camera, I milled down some sapile for the sides. At this point, I'm going to use this box joint jig to make some box joints. I have not traditionally had much luck with this, well, with box joints in general. I think I've got this dialed in, so we're gonna see how it goes. Son of a...
The thunder of my vengeance will echo through these corridors like the gust of 1,000 winds!
The bit moved on me. It jumped up. Now, if I had cut these to the size that they actually need to be ahead of time, I'd be screwed and I would have wasted all this time to thus far. Thankfully, I left them a bit oversized, so I'm going to try it again. I got one more shot. It moved again.
Fuck this shit! Fuck me in the ass! Fuck you, you fucking stupid cunt!
Well, folks, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, and I definitely lost that one. If I included all the things I just said in this video, not only would I be kicked off of YouTube, I'd be kicked out of polite society. So we're gonna make this all sapile on all four sides. I'll make the top out of cocobolo or another exotic wood. Anyway, I'm gonna get this going again. All right, I went ahead and sanded the inside pieces of the box. I'm using a little bit of blue painter's tape to minimize the glue squeeze out on the inside of the box. All right, now to get this puppy glued up.
Eventually.
I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing out of the clamps. It's been sitting here a few hours. All right, I'm gonna start sanding this part smooth, just so I can see what we're working with. Now that the outside of the box is coming together, it's time to route a channel on the bottom of the box to support the base. I've got a rabbiting bit set up in here at about 1/16 of an inch deep. So I'm going to make several passes. I've got the bottom of the box here set up inside the laser. I'm going to engrave an image of Elliott along with one of his many nicknames. I'm also going to cut it out on the laser so it will be very precise. Let's get this going. This will take a long time.
Which was in essence a sophisticated heat beam which we called a laser.
All right, this is fresh out of the laser and it's lost some detail here. I'm hoping it's just kind of soot. I'm gonna hit it with some 320 sandpaper to clean it up a little bit, hopefully lighten it up a little bit. Definitely lost some detail on the nose. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get, unfortunately. That is a fantastic fit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get the bottom here glued in. I'm going to use a combination of regular wood glue and CA glue. The CA glue will act as a clamp. No visible squeeze out, that's what I'm looking for. All right, I'm gonna let that set up a bit and we'll move on to the lid. Well, I'm here from the future. I spent a couple days working on this lid. I carved the pocket for his paw print that's going to be inset in there. I carved this out, filled it with epoxy, and then when I was cutting mortises for the hinges, the bit did that funny thing again where it slipped up and created this way too deep. Anyway, this isn't gonna work.
Whoopsie daisy!
So instead, I'm gonna use this nice piece of mahogany here. I've got it double-sided taped on there and flush trimmed everything so it's nice and smooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the hinges on it now, along with the front latch, and then I will do some work CNCing it. All right, I've got the top loaded up here on the CNC. We're gonna do a relief carving on the top. Something a little different. I haven't tried this before, and I'm honestly praying it works out. Let's get it going, see what happens. This thing's look pretty sweet. I really like the way it turned out. I've got a lot of cleanup to do here. And then I can finally bring this thing to a close. This has been the bane of my existence. All right, I've got this pretty cleaned up. It's definitely not perfect, but I don't know how much more I can do. So I'm gonna go with it. Anyway, I'm gonna get the hinges on now, finish sanding it, and we'll be just about done. All right, I'm gonna get some finish on this thing finally. All right, gang, that's gonna do it.